Hello all, welcome to our channel InfoCafe. In this video, let's see the concept of earthquake. Why is it relevant? Yes, recently we come across a news that a devastating earthquake of a 5.9 Richter scale hit the Afghanistan, which costed more than 1,000 people lives. Apart from that, more than 2,500 people are badly injured because of this earthquake. And another interesting thing related to earthquake is the US Federal Emergency Management Agency said the energy released during this particular Afghan earthquake is equivalent to that of 37 times of energy released when the atomic bomb was dropped in Hiroshima. So that's why it gained much significance, and we are also get into the nook and corner about what is earthquake, how earthquakes are happening, what are all the technical things inside the earthquake, everything in a detailed way. Apart from that, in exam point of view, this particular topic comes under geography, so it would be useful for your prelims as well as for mains. Okay, let's see how do earthquakes happen. Previously, there were so many theories proposed about the cause as well as effect of earthquake. But one theory which was widely accepted by many seismologists is plate tectonic theory. What this theory says? This theory says the reason for earthquake is movement, especially sliding movement or colliding movement of tectonic plates inside the earth. We know the tectonic plates are broadly classified into two categories. One is major plates and minor plates. Either the major or minor plates sliding against each other means there is a release of energy. That's what we experience as earthquake. This is what plate tectonic theory says about earthquake. This particular theory is widely accepted by most of the geographers as well as seismologists. On this basis only, the observations about earthquakes are being made. And another important thing or terminology we should know about the earthquake is this hypocenter as well as epicenter. The point inside the earth where the collision of tectonic plates happen, that we call it as hypocenter. In other words, the origination of earthquake inside the earth, we call that particular point as hypocenter. The transfer of energy from hypocenter to the surface of the earth, that we call it as epicenter. Actually, hypocenter is the point where earthquake occurs inside the earth. Epicenter means the experience of earthquake at the surface level, at the crust level. We call it as epicenter. Okay. Now, let's see what is seismic waves. We already said that if earthquake happens, definitely there is a release of energy. This release of energy is exhibited in the form of waves. We call it as seismic waves. There are 2 points we already said. One is hypocenter, another one is epicenter. The transfer of energy from hypocenter to epicenter, we call it as body waves, and the experience of the body shake or ground shake in the earth crust, we call it as surface wave. In body wave itself, there are 2 categories of waves. One is primary wave, simply P wave, and another one is secondary wave, that is S wave. Yes, there are slight differences between primary wave and secondary wave. In fact, primary wave is the very first wave that we are exhibiting at the crust level while earthquake happens. After that only we are experiencing secondary wave. But the secondary wave are more devastating than primary wave. Because of this secondary wave, there are so much of damages that we are experiencing in the crust level. That is, at the epicenter level, we are experiencing so much of damage. And another important property between the P wave and S wave is this primary wave can pass through all the solid, liquid as well as gases. But the secondary wave can pass through only solid, it cannot pass through liquid and gases. And another important property is this primary wave is exhibiting the wave of sound. That is, it is exhibiting the nature of compression and rarefaction. But the secondary wave is exhibiting the nature of light. That is, it is moving in the form of transverse waves. So these are the things that you should know about this P wave and S wave. Okay. After that, once this particular body wave reaches the surface, we call it as surface wave. Here also, we classify the surface wave in 2 categories. One is Rayleigh waves and another one is Love waves. Actually, the seismograph which is recording the earthquake, they are all only recording this surface waves. The Rayleigh wave is causing damage to the body present in the earth crust like building, vehicle, roads, everything is being damaged, because of the elliptical nature of the rally waves. So that we are experiencing a shake while earthquake happens. Because and another wave, that is love wave, this is quite less intense than the rally waves. But anyhow, these are all the two waves. We call it as surface wave, which is being recorded in the seismograph, and based on that, we call it as this much Richter of intensity of earthquake or magnitude of earthquake. We are saying about it. So these are all the type of waves that are generated during the earthquake. Okay, let's see how are we measuring the earthquakes. We know that there is a device called seismograph which is used to measure the earthquake, but the seismographs are only recording the surface waves, not the body waves. In India, we have more than 150 seismographic stations which are connected with the head office or headquarter called National Center for Seismology, New Delhi. Since it is a network of seismographic stations, wherever the earthquake appears or occurring in India, the information is immediately passed to the head office through this network so that we are able to predict the impact of the earthquake immediately. So how are we generally calculating the magnitude? It is nothing but the simple mapping of amplitude of the surface wave or seismic wave into the energy level. This particular mapping gives you the exact magnitude of earthquake. That's why we are able to say this much Richter. In modern days, we are using IoT sensors also, which is very much capable of predicting the seismic waves very quickly than the existing seismographic stations. So we are upgrading towards it. And another interesting thing is, in order to measure the earthquake intensity as well as the magnitude, we are using two scales. Widely, we are saying about the Richter scale, which is used to find the magnitude of the earthquake. But in order to find the intensity of the earthquake, we are going for another scale called Mercalli scale. Actually, this Richter scale was proposed by the US seismologist from California Institute of Technology, Charles Richter. On his name, we are calling it as Richter scale. Similarly, Italian seismologist Mercalli found the way of measuring the intensity of earthquake. So that particular scale we call it as Mercalli scale. So two scales are different. Richter is used for finding the magnitude of the earthquake. Mercalli scale is used for finding the intensity of the earthquake. What about earthquake zones in India? In India, we have four zones, that is zone 2 to zone 5. We don't have zone 1. Actually, let's see what is this particular zone represent. Zone 2 means least hazardous earthquake prone areas. Zone 5 means most hazardous earthquake prone areas. We don't have zone 1, which means we don't have any area in our country we can say that there should be no earthquake. Of course, there is a possibility of earthquake in each and every point in our country. That's why we are all under the category of zone 2 to zone 5. If we come from north to south, it simply decreases, which means at the north from Jammu Kashmir and to the northeastern parts, we are having zone 5, and also some western part of Gujarat that is also covering under zone 5, and in southern side also Andaman Nicobar islands are also coming under zone 5. Then we come down from the northern side, we are under zone 3, then zone 2, likewise it goes on. So these are all the four earthquake zones available in India for your understanding. Okay, coming to early warning system. See, as of now, throughout the world, there is no 100% effective early warning system for earthquake. Of course, we have effective early warning system for tsunami. Yes, it is definitely possible because tsunami is the aftermath of earthquake. But earthquake, we are not at all fully clear about what are the parameters involved in it. That's why we don't have the effective 10% early warning system for this particular earthquake disaster. Anyhow, Japan is doing extensive research on this particular area, and Japan is also designing this type of early warning system even for earthquake, and it is considered as the best when compared to the other early warning system present throughout the world. So these are all the things which I would like to tell related to earthquake. considering the current scenario. I will meet you in another video. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Bye.